You're watching Cheery TV.
Howdy, everybody, and welcome back to Stranded Deep in Conversation, where we talk about things that just make sense, you know? Like the five senses? Yeah, we're talking more about my senses today. Does that make sense? I didn't sleep. I've been having some horrible sleep schedule things. So I did the fun thing where you're like, oh, if I just stay up the whole night and then when we go to bed tomorrow, I'll go to bed at a reasonable time, right? How about that? So that's me. That's me right now. So I'm a fucking train wreck and a half. But we're gonna watch this train wreck from a close enough distance that it will be able to see everything just fine without actually getting hurt. So it's pretty cool stuff. Apologies, I guess. We'll just before we get onto the topic, because there's really not. Okay, we're not doing this speak in retail. We're just gonna jump straight into it. But first, before we jump straight into it, so I'm lying completely, just right off the bat. I apologize for missing yesterday's stream. Internet problem. After I did wake up a little late. To be completely frank, it was like 10:30, and I was like, okay, this is fine, it's fine, I can go, I gotta go. And then I woke up and I go on the computer, and nothing was working, nothing was working at all. So that's fun. That's always fun. But yeah, otherwise, like, it is what it is. I was gonna work on something and hope the internet would go back on. But I didn't. So. Yeah, that's my bad. We're gonna jump back into the swing of things very, very soon. Actually, pretty soon, because it's right now, because I'm working on a video as we speak. Believe it or not, it's Stranded Deep in Conversation. Pretty fun stuff, if you ask me. You should ask me. I'm a good person to ask. What was that? I don't know. But yeah. So we're here to talk about once again one of the greatest things in the universe are the senses. Not everything in the universe can sense things, and not any single one can sense like we can. But even if they could, they can't talk about it. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to do that part. We talked about the best things to see, the best things you could possibly ever see in your life last week, the best sight. And today we are jumping into one of the more interesting ones, I feel. Probably one that most people can relate to a lot. I feel like as this list will go, there are a couple senses that are a little strange to, actually make sense of here on these lists. But this one makes a lot of sense, and as you already know from the title, it's the best smell. What is universally, unequivocally, the best smell in the world? And for those of you who don't remember from last week how we do this, I have a few honorable mentions. And then we're just from there we jump into my top 10 that aren't ordered in any particular way, but after I list them all and I give my reasons, we kind of choose what the best thing is, from my top 10 anyway. The honorable mentions are there to be honorable, but not enough. It's like a participation award that I just given to a few things that I think deserve it. Last time it was. Sorry, I should edit these out. I'm not going to. Last week it was sights that I had not personally seen, but I still think are beautiful anyway, in theory. This time it's smells that I have actually smelled before. It's just smells that either have a caveat to it, or are too specific, or just generally not really good smells, but they're just smells. that I think of, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice sometimes. So let's just jump straight into it, everybody. The best smell. Let's get through some honorable mentions. The first honorable mention for the best smell is a room that has the faint smell of cigarette smoke. All right, listen. I grew up around a lot of smokers, and a lot of my family was smokers. So that sort of just nicotine, is that what's in a cigarette? That sort of just a cigarette, just the smell of, not even a cigarette. I don't like the idea of cigarettes. I don't like the idea of smoking. I think it's gross and terrible for everybody. But I will say, the secondhand smoke smell can be pretty good sometimes. Not all the time. That's the main reason it's an honorable mention for me. Because as much as I think it's a pretty nostalgic smell for me, because there were a few times where we hung out at like my grandma's house and everyone was smoking around the fire or whatever, and it's like, oh wow, this place smells like fucking smoke. Or like we'd go to like a cousin's house and that's what the smell was, because they were chronic smokers. But I mean, it was, they were cool people regardless. It's not all bad. You can smoke and still be a good person. But it's a nostalgic smell that has very few specific memories in my heart, that I figured I had to put it here, because even though I don't necessarily like it, it does bring up good, mostly good, some negative, but mostly good memories. Another honorable mention for today is movie theater popcorn. I think this probably would hit a lot of people's top 10 spots, because movie theater popcorn, even if you don't like it, it is a very, very strong, very notable, and very distinct smell that, like, if you're going to a movie theater, that's what it is. And movie theaters are a very pleasant experience. I love going to movie theaters, whether it's on my own, whether it's with my friends, or my family, who cares? I love a good movie theater. I haven't gone to a movie theater with, like, my whole family, I think, ever. That's crazy. That's honestly crazy. But I mean, it's just whatever, I guess this is a weird thought to think out of nowhere. But the popcorn is like the smell of movie theaters, and even if it's usually I'm saying it as in you're eating popcorn at the movies, you smell the popcorn, and you're like, this is fantastic, because that's a pretty big genre of smell. At least to me anyway, it's like food smells, because there's really not a whole lot of good smells that I can think of that aren't food based in some way. Like I most of my list isn't food based, because I tried my best to not make it so food based, because I have a few food based ones in the honorable mentions already. But yes, food smells are some of the more impactful and just memorable smells for me. And movie theater popcorn's one. The main reason it's not in the top 10 for me is because I don't crave popcorn that much unless I'm smelling it. And then it's like, oh, well, I mean, fuck, I'll have like 2 bags of that. Sure, why not? but it's never a smell that I'm craving or a flavor that I'm craving. And again, it sort of just makes me feel like I'm thinking more of the flavor of popcorn, which again, I'm not that big of a fan of. Well, I am. I just don't crave it. So it's like, I don't really crave the smell either. But once I smell it, it's great. But it's not a smell that I actively pursue, if that makes sense. One that I do actively pursue, but I took into the honorable mentions, I feel like it's just a little too specific, and it's also a little too not smell-based. It is a newly opened packet of Cheez-It Grips. The best way to eat Cheez-Its, might I add. Cheez-It Grips are little pouches of tiny hexagonal Cheez-Its that you rip open a little tear in the side and get down like fucking, like any other tiny little bag of something. It's like a really small snack. It's not really meant to be anything super special, but it is, because they're awesome. These are very nostalgia based for me. These were one of the snacks we had as a kid. My dad would have to hide the Cheez-It Grips with him, where we're in his general like seating area of the living room. So that way we wouldn't just eat the entire box in the hour that we got them, because holy shit, they're just amazing. They were just so good. We would eat them all. And today they still taste about the same. I think they were better as a kid, but also they're still fucking amazing today. Cause it's literally just, they're kind of just extra toasty Cheez-Its in like a tiny form that you can just down like it's nothing. And I love that. I love that feeling. I love that flavor. I love everything about it. And I love the smell of a Cheez-It Grips bag. Like Cheez-Its as a whole smell amazing. Pretty top tier smelling cracker. But something about the grips. It just smells nicer. It smells better. It smells more cheesy. It smells good. But at the same time, I feel like most of that is me specifically, which is fine, but also it's me. It's like nostalgia flavor more than nostalgia smell, so I can't exactly put it in the top 10 smells of all time. Another honorable mention that I really was upset to take out of this list, but I had to for a very specific reason. It is the first whiff of a Smensel, because for those of you who don't know, by the way, Smensels are scented pencils. That's it. You know, it's like it's got. I actually have one right here. I have two actually, but it's like they come in a little tube, like a little plastic tube, and you pop open the lid. I don't know if that made a sound or not. Hold on. If you pop open the lid, that probably made a sound, and you give it a smell. And this one's supposed to smell like sour apple. And this one's supposed to smell like Jolly Watermelon. I have two. Jolly Watermelon I can kind of get in there. But the thing is, the main reason I bought these in particular was because I thought they smelled really good when I first bought them. Because when the first smell of a Smensel is like, it's like popping a cork of a wine bottle, you know? It's an exciting thing. It's a flashy thing. It's made to draw you in. But then you buy it. Then you take it and you have it, and you're like, you know what? This ain't all that great. Because first of all, you're too afraid to use the Smensel. And then also, even if you don't use the Smensel regularly, even if you try to just keep it there to be like a smell stick, after a while, after that first open, it just doesn't have the same hit. Because it's not festering in all of its smell like it used to be. Like now it's been exposed to the elements. The smell has died down substantially, so you only really get one good whiff of a Smensel, and then everything else is downhill from there. So it's not the best, I will say. They can be amazing. Again, Smensels smell great, but you only get one good smell out of it. That's the only reason it's not in the top 10. But otherwise, it's pretty damn good. And the last thing that is in the honorable mentions, which is a bit of a weird one, it's my farts. I'm not saying my farts smell good. I'm just saying that I have grown accustomed to my farts, and I am okay with them, and I think they smell pretty nice. You know, like I feel like I've grown so accustomed to my farts that I can live in them. They're horrible. They're absolutely atrocious. No one should ever have to smell some of the things that come out of my ass. But listen, sometimes you just feel good about it. Like, sometimes you get so accustomed to a smell that even if it's bad, it's like, it's you know? So you gotta love it. and it's something to do, you know? It's fine. But yeah, that's pretty awful. It's pretty gross. I didn't put it in the top 10 for a reason, because I wasn't gonna say that my farts are some of the best smelling things in the universe. But to me, sometimes they smell pretty tolerable. You know, sometimes you fart to get rid of a worse smell, you know? Sometimes there's worse smells out there, and you just rip ass and hope that somehow masks the scent. And sometimes it does, and it's awesome. And with that, honorable mentions are through the window, and we can move on to our top 10 best smells in the world. But before I do want to give a quick, it's not an announcement. It's more like a annotation. Keep this in mind while I list my 10 favorite smells in the world. I do not have a very good sniffer. If you couldn't tell from my voice, I'm pretty congested always. It's not like I can't breathe, but also like pretty much I can't breathe. There's almost always one nostril in my nose that is heavily clogged to the point where like if I like breathe through it, I literally can't feel anything. Like plugging one nostril, go, okay, that's my clogged one, and then I go. So right now it's the left. I wish I had like my freaking like my recorder out. Wish I had my recorder out, but I don't have it, so I can't demonstrate it. But literally, I can't smell a damn thing from this one nostril, and as a result, I don't really smell a whole lot of things as strongly and as well as other people do. True story, actually did happen this week in retail. So, hey, quick this week in retail for anyone who was listening, listening for it. We were getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and one thing we found in the back of the fridge was a cake for one of our coworkers' birthdays, like from like 2 months ago. That thing was moldy as hell. There was huge pockets of mold on it, and it apparently smelled really, really bad. Like really bad. Like that no one could bear to be around it bad. But I didn't smell a fucking thing from that cake. It didn't smell bad at all to me. It literally, it either smelled to me like cake or cleaner, and I couldn't tell which one. But neither was really all that bad. I didn't have any negative thoughts about the smell. I thought it was pretty damn good, honestly. I would have eaten that cake if someone didn't tell me it was moldy. Like they were really like refined pieces of like huge chunks of mold. I could have believed it was a decoration and would have eaten some of that cake. I wouldn't have. That would have been disgusting. I probably would have known from the look of it. But I don't remember. The smell was not bad at all. And everyone thought I was weird because I didn't think the smell of moldy cake was bad. But I'm sure I would. I just didn't smell it because my sniffer sucks. So take this all with a grain of salt. But I do genuinely believe these are the 10 best smells in the world. And I feel like a big reason also why it could be that this is a good thing that I can't really smell very good is because only the most pungent, only the biggest kicks in the face of smells are going to make it onto this list. It's not just going to be like faint chocolate aroma, faint chocolate aroma in like a chocolate factory, you know? Like, as good of a smell that is, I can't fucking smell it. so you know, it's kind of like a little bit of a, it's kind of a little bit of a handicap. I'm a little bit handicapped in the smell department, so I need some help. So the stronger the smell, the better for me. And we're gonna start with the food smells because everyone's expecting food smells because food smells amazing all the time. Most food anyway. There's obviously like durians and stuff. I almost said Durans. So now I want to say that just so I have a reason to put in this episode's thumbnail a picture of a durian. Like it's Duran's face on a durian. I'm gonna remember that because I'm saying it, or I won't. Honestly, who the fuck knows? You know, I'm gonna write that down, right? I'm not even gonna put it in like a memo. I'm just gonna put durian for thumbnail. Just put that in a fucking search bar. I'm just gonna search it. There we go. So now that's there to stay, and no one's done it, so I'm gonna be the first one. It's gonna be pretty awesome. But yeah, so let's move on to the first of 10 best smells in the entire universe. Lois. Hey, Lois, I'm gonna talk about some smells, Lois. Yeah, that good of smells. We're talking that good. Number 1, and again, no particular order, sizzling bacon. I say sizzling, that's more of a sound, which we could get into in another week. But just the general smell of like cooking bacon. 'Cause I don't think just bacon on its own smells all that good. But something about the cooking of the bacon just makes it smell like it's a fucking beautiful wonderland piece of perfection in the world. And it's just a great smell. There's really not much to say about it. There's not like a whole story here. It's the same story every person has ever had. You know, like you wake up in the morning, and your mom or dad is making breakfast, and it's bacon, it's pancakes and bacon, eggs and bacon, sausages and bacon, anything and bacon, because bacon is the quintessential breakfast smell, and I love breakfast food. Breakfast food is some of my favorite food. Don't at me, and it is genuinely a big reason is because it's just this. It's just a nostalgic and just it's just a sensory experience because there's always such strong smells because it's always some fairly strong flavors. And bacon is just one of those smells that just really kicks me into a nostalgia trip, kicks me into a deliciousness trip, just a whole lot. Just I love it. Like I don't really get nostalgia from like going out and getting like bacon on a sandwich, but like if like we're making bacon at home, oh my god, I love that. I immediately get flashbacks to whenever my dad would make bacon, and we'd all be so terrified because it would fucking pop like nothing else, and we'd all be sitting under the table scared that the fucking grease was gonna spew off and hit us in the face like it did once. It did it once to my sister, and never again did we trust the bacon. So but it was fun though. It was fun, and then obviously, you know, as we matured, no, we started caring less about ourselves. So we were like, yeah, fuck, I just want to watch this. And yeah, it was cool. So cooking bacon, a great smell. Obviously, it was pretty obvious choice. A slightly less obvious choice for food smell, I would say, is fresh bagels. I love bagels. As a Brooklyn boy, I love my bagels, and I love them fresh, and I love them good. There's not a whole lot that beats like that bread smell. I was tempted to put like potato bread or wheat bread smell on here, but I ultimately decided against it because there is only one bread smell that takes the cake over everything, and that is a fresh bagel. Doesn't matter what type of bagel. Usually the seasonings will add a sort of more, like a stronger aroma, but even if it's like a plain bagel, going into like a bagel shop in Brooklyn, because there was one right around the corner from where we lived, and it was the best bagel shop ever, in my opinion, in my fact, actually. It has since closed down because they've decided to retire, which is a shame. It's a big shame. I was sad. They closed down like right before I went over there last time, like last year. And that sucked, because I was really looking forward to a fucking tasty-ass bagel. But I didn't get it, and I'm really sad. But it is what it is, you know? But going into that store and just smelling the cooking bagels, like the ones that just came out of the oven, you'd see like the whole rack of bagels they bring out from their fucking giant kitchen in the back, and they're like, oh, here's like 80 bagels, and you just feel the waft of that warm, delicious smell. One of the greatest things to ever hit your nostrils, I swear to God. This was before I really noticed that my nose was always clogged, so I got this might have been a more faint smell that I was just able to get more because I was able to breathe better. But either way, I don't care. It's on the list because it's fucking amazing. That's the thing with food smells. There really is no just saying why it smells good, other than it smells like good ass food, and a fresh bagel is some of the best food you could have. Again, I love breakfast food. Bagels are mostly breakfast. If not, they're just delicious anyway. You can eat a bagel whenever the fuck you want. How about that? I love bagels. But yeah, it's just great. Fresh bagel smell, absolutely 100% gets on this list just because I'm a Brooklyn man at heart. You know, you can't take the bagel out of me. And the last one that I put on that isn't even really food, it's kind of like the food adjacent, just because I do like the smell a lot. And again, I didn't want to overload it with food flavors, food smells, sorry. It is a fake marshmallow scent. I don't think marshmallow as a whole has that big or strong of a scent, and as such, I can't actually tell if fake marshmallow smells like marshmallows very much. But my sister for Easter got me like a little Peep marshmallow plushie, and the face smells like marshmallow. It's like a marshmallow scented plushie, and I didn't think it was gonna be good. But when I tell you, for like 3 weeks straight, I went to bed with that thing on my nose because I just loved the smell of that. It's like no other. It's really fucking good. If you guys haven't smelled like a fake marshmallow scented thing, this next Easter, or maybe just go to like a candy shop and smell the fucking marshmallow section or something. I don't know. I don't know how you're gonna get this smell. Just find it and smell it, because it is genuinely a delicious, amazing smell. Like it's just a feel good smell, you know? Like it's awesome. I have no complaints. And again, not much else to say. It's mainly just food based, but it is really damn good. It's very just sweet. It's one of the only sweet smells I like. I was gonna put like red velvet cake smell on here, but again, that's more flavor than anything else. I couldn't put it there. But marshmallow scent, at least the fake stuff, very strong, very good, very happy feelings when you smell that. It just feels good to smell that sort of stuff, you know? It's nice. I happen to like it a lot. It's great. It's cool. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. So that kind of concludes the food related topics. I'm trying to pause this. Sorry, I was just making sure that's saved. I didn't want to have to re-talk about all this because I don't have time. I do work today. I chose a good day to reset my schedule on a day that I, of course, work. It's great. It's cool. But yeah, so we're going to move on to another smell. And again, these smells are less food-based than anything. These are more so just smells you smell throughout the day. They're not food related, is what I'm really saying. And as such, though, I feel like most of these are going to be very obvious choices. Like, because with the with the best sight, it all depends on what you've seen personally. With the best smell, there's some smells that are categorically just good to smell, and there's some that are bad to smell. So, like, if I were to put like a farm on this list, not a whole lot of people are gonna agree with that because it doesn't make sense. But I guess if you grew up on a farm, which I didn't, then you might actually like the smell of just manure everywhere. I'm not a big fan of that. But growing up how I did, the very opposite of that, I'm a huge fan of. Going on this list is a freshly Lysol sprayed room. Not Febreze. I love Febreze. I use Febreze in my room because there's not a whole lot of air circulation, and it can smell a little fucking terrible sometimes. But hey, that's what you get when you like the smell of your farts, right? But yeah, it's good. It's nice. But Febreze is good. But Lysol makes things smell fresh. You know, it's like Febreze makes things smell good. Lysol makes things smell fresh because it's a disinfectant spray. It's not really there to make the room smell good. It's make the room smell clean. Make the room smell, again, just fresh, just nice, pleasant to be in. But in like a not super intrusive smell way. It's just like a, hey, this place is awesome. And I have a lot of memories of people, especially when we lived back in Brooklyn, just going fucking ham on the Lysol and making the room smell just absolutely insane. And I do have a can of Lysol. I do have a can of Lysol in my room somewhere. I don't remember where it is. So I should really spray it. It does smell. It does add some joy to the world, I would argue. I do like me some Lysol. It does smell really nice, and especially when you like. It's a fine line, and I learned this from a specific person in my life. It was my older sister's friend's girlfriend. So there's the whole sentence there. They would come over and like they would like spray Lysol because they were like a connoisseur at it. Like, I'm not insulting them for it. They were literally like a Lysol connoisseur. They had the spray technique, the spray amount. They knew how much you should put in a room. And I thought they were crazy, but by the time they were done with the room, they barely used any of it, and they made the fucking most out of it, and it smelled amazing. It smelled clean. It smelled nice. It was just, they were good at what they did, and as such, it stuck with me. It stuck with me, and I like the smell. It's pretty good. But nothing beats the next mention on this list, which is just fresh air. You know, like, I live in a fairly rural area, so I don't really get a whole lot of the smoggy smell or just like the weird city smell that I used to get. I get that fresh ass air. I get some of the cleanest air until you walk by all the farms and it smells like shit and cows, which I love cows, so I'm not gonna complain too much about the cows, but just shit. It smells like shit in most of this area. But in the spots where it doesn't, it smells really damn nice down here. Like, it's pretty freaking pleasant. Like, you can just sit there and take in that air. And again, fresh air is kind of a cop-out because it doesn't really smell like anything in particular, but it just smells good. It makes your nostrils happy. You know, it's like looking not at the sun. It makes your eyes pretty happy. It's like, so for this, it's like, you're not blinding yourself with an overloading sense of smell and all these different weird smells and stuff. You're just smelling nothing. And that's beautiful. It's like closing your eyes. Like right now, I can't do that. I actually almost just leaned back in my chair and fell asleep. I'm so tired. But yeah, it's just something about fresh air. It's just great. No one can complain about it because it's one of the best feelings. Again, it makes you feel good because you're getting a lot more oxygen in when you breathe. You're just getting a non-intrusive smell experience because there's literally nothing to smell. Honestly, sometimes it's best to smell nothing, which is what I do most of the time anyway. So it's just honestly pretty positive experience. Again, when I tell people that I can't smell very good, they are like, "Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry." I'm like, "Nah, dude, it's great." I don't smell the bad things. I get enough smell of the good things, and as long as something's not pungent enough of a bad thing, sometimes I do get some pretty bad smells in there. Because my other nostril still kind of works, so it's like, hey, there we go. Still gonna get some smells in there. They have to be pretty strong, and again, positive or negative there. But as long as I feel like I'm comfortable with not getting the faint good smells because it means I don't have to get any of the faint bad smells. And I feel like I have a very sensitive gag reflex. So maybe this just developed because of that. Because I would use one of the worst smells, which might be another topic for another day, but one of the worst smells, in my opinion, is fresh coffee. I think fresh coffee smells disgusting, and as a kid, whenever I had to go to the deli across the street from my house, to get my mom coffee, I would have to wait for the coffee to be made outside because it was so strong that I would almost throw up. I'd be gagging in the store, going down the aisles to get away from the smell, but it wouldn't get away. So I literally just gag. I had to leave until the coffee was ready. He'd knock on the door, and then I would go in and get the coffee. I'm not even kidding. And it's not as strong of a reaction nowadays. I got more used to it since my family drinks coffee way too regularly anyway, so I'm gonna be around it, so I got kind of more used to it. But it's still pretty bad. I still hate the smell. It's not a good smell. Not a good smell at all. So just being able to not, and like obviously with the fucked up nostril, it's gotten a bit easier to just be around that smell. So it's nice. It's pleasant. It's good. It's a good thing to have. Because again, I still do smell good things. And even if I lost my sense of smell, I wouldn't be that. I feel like I wouldn't be missing much, you know? Like there's some things, you know, like like these top 10 things, the honorable mention. I would lose out on these smells, but it's not like they make up that big of a part of my life that I would miss them too much. I feel like smell is like a not very. If you're gonna lose a sense, it's probably gonna be smell. You know, like I don't feel like smell's all that bad. The only thing I would say, well, you'd want smell for is to tell if you are clean. You know, like if you're not visibly dirty, you might still smell disgusting. I know that from experience. I was a very smelly kid, so I get it. But again, I kind of got nose blind. That's probably I have a lot of reasons in my childhood why I probably cannot smell very good now. But either way, let's move on to another part of the topic today. Let's do this one because we're just talking about how you could smell bad. You can also smell good. with some fresh clothes. And I obviously this is one, you know, clothes right out of the dryer. And I'm saying dryer with or without dryer sheet because you get two experiences that way. If you get it with a dryer sheet, you really get the full cleaning experience. You get a nice fresh smelling piece of clothing. It smells like the laundry detergent, the fabric softener, and the dryer sheet. It's a whole combination of really pleasant smells that just makes for a great experience. However, if you don't use a dryer sheet, that's sometimes I would say better. Sometimes I'm craving a non-dryer sheet dried piece of clothing because it just smells like warm air and like a very faint like soap smell, but like in a good way, you know. It's not like it's been sitting out there and it's wet and it's moist and it's disgusting. It's like it's like a nice crispy piece of clothing, nice crisp smelling piece of clothing. That just smells like a faint. It's more faint, more subtle, and it adds in more like a burnt aroma, which honestly I like a lot. So either way, as long as it is coming out of the dryer, and again it has to have been washed too. I'm not saying just put it through the dryer and let it rip. It's gotta be clean through the dryer, you know. Otherwise, what's the point of putting it through the dryer in the first place? It's good. I love that smell. I love that smell a lot. Fresh clothes just smells great. I love warm, fresh clothes. That's just like if you smell them right out of the dryer, peak. But again, most of the time it still stays and lingers for a while. It's not like a smensel. If you don't wear that piece of clothing, it's still clean. It still smells good. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy how smell does what it does, you know. Next up we have Sharpies. We'll talk about Sharpies today. This was gonna go into honorable mentions just because I think it's a bad thing to promote. But they started it with Smensels and those smelly markers that I didn't put on the list because sometimes they just smelled horrible. There was like an orange citrus scented one that smelled disgusting. But there were some really good ones. Oh, right back with the marshmallow scent actually, because I'm thinking just marshmallow scent in general. Burnt marshmallow, Crayola, like the black thin, scented marker. That was one of the best smells in the universe, hands down. I would sniff that marker like it was nothing as a kid. Like everyone in my class did it because we'd see those in like the local CVS and we'd be like, oh, only $1.30 for this marker that smells like fucking joy to the world. Sold. And we'd buy it and it was great. We all had one and it was really just like a universal experience. It was great. But Sharpies take away the scent, so you're not really gaining any like positive like smells that you already know, but in return you're getting a smell that is so unique and so addictive that it could cause some serious harm. Don't huff markers, kids. And everyone who's not a kid, because I don't think kids watch my stuff. If you do, hi, I guess. Maybe go. Listen, I'm just saying. I'm not saying my stuff's not all that great, but there's better stuff out there. If you're gonna spend your time, your adolescence or your youth watching something, watch like Total Drama Island. You know, you watch a good show. Better Call Saul. Finish that before I do, because I still haven't fucking finished the show. I really want to. I should. I really should. I'm gonna do that soon. But yeah, Sharpies just have a very unique marker smell to them, a very unique marker experience that everyone knows. But once you pop open a Sharpie, especially a fresh one, those things smell. You get that smell. You're like, holy shit, that's strong. And it's kind of like paint thinner, or it's like, I know I shouldn't smell this. I know I shouldn't put this up to my nose and go, but I really fucking want to. And sometimes you cave in and you do, and it's like, oh my god, that was amazing. But you don't do that all the time. You do it like once every now and again. Like, I don't crave the smell anymore just because I've gotten my fair share as a kid. But it is up there. And sometimes I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. It's like the closest thing I think I'll ever get to doing drugs. just inhaling Sharpies. Because that's not good for you. Don't do that. But again, do it at least once. Just so you can get the smell. Just so you can really believe in it. Another thing that's probably in the same vein of that is nail polish. I myself do not polish my nails very much, and I would like to. I used to as a kid because my sisters would have nail polish. I'd be like, ooh, that looks pretty. I want that, and I'd do it. And it was awesome. There's nothing wrong with getting your nails polished. Doesn't matter who you are or what you believe in. You should believe in getting your nails polished. 'Cause that shit can be pretty. Um, and I haven't done it in a while, but my family still polishes their nails pretty regularly, as nail polishing people they are, and they have some good smelling stuff. I feel like all nail polish smells the same, which is great because you can experiment with different colors and still get that sort of just like nail polish experience just from the smell alone. There's really nothing that is more distinct, I think, on this list than the smell of nail polish. It's just so strong and so like medical, if that makes sense. It's very strange. It's very good, but it's very strange. And again, if you don't want to stick your nose in the bottle and smell, you smell it from a distance, this one, because it's liquid and it could go in your nose or it'd fuck you up somehow. I don't know. I'm just thinking with my brain, and my brain don't think very good, but I can do a Cleveland Brown. Peter, what are you doing in my house? Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. What the fuck am I doing? I'm sorry, I'm tired. But yeah, nail polish smells good. It's great. It's pretty cool. Again, one of the more nostalgic smells for me. So there was one time where I got my nails painted, and it was just like a clear nail polish, just because I was like, oh, fuck it, sure. And I was just smelling my fingers afterwards, because I was like, this is pretty good. I like this. I like what I'm having here. I'm a fan. I like this. But yeah, good stuff. Moving on, we have two more for the top 10 today. And this one is another pretty obvious one. Flipping through the pages in a new book. New book smell is a thing. So is new car smell, but I hate the smell of any car. I don't think there's any car, especially warm car. There's not a car in the world that I've gotten into and I'm like, holy actually, no, there is one. There was one Uber that I don't remember them at all, but their car smelled amazing, and that was the only thing I had to say. I wish there was a badge for good smelling car in Uber, but I hate the smell of any other car. It's disgusting. I have had my share of vomit experiences in my aunt's car because that thing hotboxed and smelled like vomit. It was bad. Maybe because I vomited in it so much. It smelled like vomit. But it was not good. Not a good experience. No shame to my aunt. Like, she kept it clean. It just this is warm cars. And cars in general just smell bad. I don't like them. I don't like cars. I gotta say. I wish I could just scoot everywhere. Get away with that. But, shit's far. But new book is a thing, and I feel like it's a fair thing. It smells great. Something about the fresh paper just really smells good. Like a fresh stack of bills too. I think I should condense this down into just fresh paper. Like you just get, like, at least for me, I work in retail, and I like whenever we deal with the money, sometimes we get like fresh bills from a customer. Sometimes we'll get like a fresh like stack of like 100 from the bank, and it's like 100 singles, and we're just like, oh my god, it smells so good. And then you get like a fresh book, like you just bought a book, and you're like flipping through the pages, getting that smell in there, because it's a very distinct smell. Despite being, I imagine, probably the faintest smell on this list, it is a very, very distinct smell, and it is very good. Anytime you give me paper, I just like paper. I think paper's a pretty good fucking thing. I feel like that's one of my first loves in the world is paper. And, paper smells good. I mean, I have to say. Paper smells amazing. Paper smells so good. Big fan of paper. I think it's really great. I love paper. Paper's awesome. There's how much I love paper. And then the last one, there's really not much. Again, this one is not really a whole lot to say, but somehow I filled 44 minutes of time already. I don't know how. But, yeah, the last one I have for today is the wood corner of a craft store. I think trees just smell good. That's what I'm learning from myself. I love wood, and I love paper. And I do actually like fire. I never even brought that up. I love the smell of fire. It smells good sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes it doesn't really smell like anything. But a wood fire, pretty good. Put that in the honorable mentions. Get rid of my farts. Take my farts out of honorable mentions. It was a dumb thing to say in there. And put a wood fire in there. And there you go. There's your honorable mentions. But yeah, going through like a craft store has a smell to it, and it's really just nice. It's a good experience walking through a craft store because always these cool things and stuff, and these interesting smells from like yarn and weird glass products. And but going to like the craft section with like the little like beads and the hooplas and dooplas, and then getting to that, at least for us, we go to a Hobby Lobby, and there is like a little stand right by the bathroom with all these little chunks and like slabs of like balsa wood, just cheap pieces of wood that I don't see anyone really needing for anything, but just walking by it makes my day because it smells so good. Wood smells amazing, especially craft wood. Craft wood smells so damn good. I don't know what it is about it, but it just smells amazing. I don't know if it's how they treat it. I don't know if it's how it just exists. It smells good. They should smell good. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It just really do. It really do be smelling good. I don't know. Yeah, like again, cause, like, especially with me, I'm not that good at smelling things, so I don't really have much else to say other than, oh yeah, I've smelled that before. It smells nice, Well, like it does. I will say, wood has a good smell to it, especially like craft wood. Again, I just said that, so I'm gonna say it again. Craft wood smells good, and with that, that's my top 10. So to reiterate, we have bacon, cooking bacon, fresh bagels, fake marshmallow smell, freshly Lysoled room, fresh air, Sharpies, nail polish, clothes right out the dryer, flipping through new pages in a book, flipping through pages in a new book, or just generally paper, just fresh new paper smell, and then the wood corner of a craft store. If I had to name the best smell, I would probably still say it's one of the food ones, if I'm being honest. Like, bacon is a very, like, you know what it is, you smell it, it's a great day. That or fake marshmallow scent might honestly take it. If we're going, we did two before. If we're talking the best smell, how did I do it before? Like the best smell ever? We did like universally and then like personally. So universally, I think the best smell might go to, I want to say honestly, I think that fake marshmallow scent really is just a fucking phenomenal smell that nothing can really beat. But personally, I do like the wood corner. I love fresh paper. I gotta say, I think fresh paper might honestly take it, or fresh air, or Lysol room. Lysol room smells really good. All these are great. I gotta say, it's hard to choose number one for this because it's very just quick instances of joy for me, especially. But I would probably say like the fresh paper smell would take it. I think that's pretty fair. But no, I don't. I would say marshmallow or bacon. I think those are the top two. So fresh bacon or fake marshmallow scent. Those are the two best smells. I'm locking it in. But if I had to lock in one, what would if I had to lock in one? I don't know. Thinking about it, bacon smells so fucking good. But I'm gonna give it the fresh marshmallow, fake marshmallow scent, because I do think that holds a lot more weight. I feel like it's less about the food, it's more about the smell. I feel like with bacon, you kind of smell it, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna eat bacon. When you smell marshmallow scent, it's because you know it's fake. You're like, I want to smell this some more. So I feel like that solidifies it as the best smell ever. Full stop. And with that, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Stranded Deep in Conversation. If you guys have a different smell that you think is the best smell, if you have your own top 10 list, throw them in the comments. I'm interested. Again, this is supposed to be a more discussion-based set of final episodes. Well, not final episodes, but like up to the 100th episode of this show. I'm trying to make it a bit more of a conversation between us. So I'm just naming shit that I like, and then you name shit you like, and we have a good time about it. Eventually, I want to sort of have different things, because sometimes trying to deep a conversation takes, not trying to deep, this week in retail takes a little too long to get through. So I would like to either replace it, or at least like make that a bit shorter of a thing, and then, or if anything, I have a different thing every now and again where I just go through the comments and I'm like, hey, what did you guys think, or what were your opinions about this topic that I had last week, stuff like that. I feel like that'd be pretty fun. I would like to do that. But yeah, with that, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time for the next sense, whatever it may be. Bye, everybody.